Continuing in Health Watch, a mysterious infection traveling around the world has been placed on the CDC's urgent threat list. The fungal infection called Candida auris is resistant to treatment, and the number of cases in New York alone has grown from 1 to 14 in the last year.
Now the CDC is warning healthcare workers to take extra precautions while at work, and they also warn that the epidemic is growing.
Joining us now, internal medicine specialist Dr. Nita Ogden. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
So I was telling Anne-Marie, when I read about this fungal virus in the New York Times, and they described there's a patient that had it, was infected with this virus, and then when the patient left the hospital room, the entire room was a biohazard. It was everywhere. In the ceilings, in the bed, in the blinds, and it's resistant to treatment.
It's resistant to multiple antifungal drugs that we have, and it's also resistant to all the things that we use to eradicate bacteria and fungal strains in the hospital. There was another case in London when they aerosolized the room with sodium hydroxide, one organism regrew. Candida auris. So this is definitely an alarming development in the global emerging threat of superbugs. It's a little different from what we've heard about in terms of bacteria because it's a fungus. And actually, Candida strains are colonizers of the human body. They live in our gut microbiome, which is another hot topic. This strain is preying on people with weakened immune systems. So who is that? Long-term healthcare facility residents who have catheters, indwelling catheters or IV lines, people in hospitals, ICUs, newborns, and also people who take immunosuppressive drugs for medical illnesses or have diabetes. So those are the people that really are at risk. The greater concern is if we don't curb this rise of superbugs, where's this headed? It's headed towards normal, healthy people with no health problems becoming vulnerable to these type of fungal strains and not having anything in our defenses of antimicrobials and antifungals to fight them.
So what does it look like when you've been infected with this fungus?
Well, to be honest, people are already sick, or they're newborns and too young to say why they're sick. So the main symptoms may be malaise, fever, chills, some kind of vague symptoms, really. And it's really up to healthcare facilities to be on the lookout and to report these kinds of symptoms if they're suspicious to healthcare agencies. So, things can go into effect immediately to prevent the spread.
And we just point out here that nearly half of the patients who contracted the virus died within 90 days. Let's have.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Waha, Rakah, Kodash, which in the ancient Hebrew tongue would be the correct names of the Heavenly Father, His beloved Son, and the Holy Spirit. I also would like to give double honors to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much due honors and respect to the sincere brethren out that is also laboring in His work. And as always, want to say shalom to you believers, the Akim as well as the Akwaf, which would be you brothers, along with the sincere sisters out there that subscribe to this truth as well. So yeah, this lesson right here is going to be continuing in the spirit of prophecy, which that's the times that we in, the time where the prophecies and the things written and foretold to take hold on the planet Earth here in the latter days is being brought more and more to the forefront. And it's pretty much on the center stage, from the rhetoric of war, the wars and rumors of wars, different skirmishes that's breaking out on the planet Earth, the famine that's fast approaching, which right now, these different supermarkets and grocery stores is showing physical signs of a coming famine, depending or hinging on whatever grocery store you might go to, you'll see that these shelves is becoming empty, man, and the tension amongst the people is going to bring forth those class wars and different race wars, which is all foretold in the Holy Scriptures. And in this lesson right here, the pestilences and diseases that's going to take hold to America mainly and throughout the world is here already, man. See, what you people are going to come to find out is the Holy Bible is the most powerful book on the planet Earth. Why is that? Because it actually embodies the spirit of Yahweh Shai, the one whom you people out there ignorantly refer to as Jesus Christ. And the words that's written in this book, it stands the test of time, man. You know? Now you have people out there who dismiss the Bible altogether. Well, guess what? You're going to come to the realization that this book is a reality, man. You know? And for all of those amongst you out there who claim to build your foundation of the scriptures or subscribe to the Bible, as it were, well, your mentality is that of one who needs to see tangible evidence. You know, even you people up in these churches. That's why you see a lot of these so-called Christians, they rally behind, you know, someone who might have come across the goods of this world, you know, whether it's in the form of money, you know, they might have cars and houses. That's why these pastors and preachers are shown so much reverence, you know, because you see the mega churches, the private planes. You say, you know what, he's blessed, you know. So you have to see tangible things, and even just the average person out there, and especially amongst Israel, you desire to see a sign in order for you to fully commit to your power. When the signs is already here, man, as you saw in the opening clip, you know, you have different diseases that's beginning to take hold on America. Well, guess what? That's a sign and wonder from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah that he has begun to spring into action. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and start off right here in the book of Matthew, the 16th chapter, and starting at the first verse. It says, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. Yeah, and you actually tempt the Most High through his son by desiring to see a sign, you know, as if that's the only way you'll be able to believe on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh. You have to see some physical sign, some tangible evidence, you know. Verse 2, he answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say, it would be fair weather, for the sky is red, and in the morning it would be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? See? And that's our people. And pretty much all you people, you can discern the signs of the sky as far as the face of the sky. You know, when it's cloudy, you come to the conclusion that it's going to rain. You know, you don't see any clouds in the sky. You say it's going to be a fair day. Yet, you can't discern the signs of the times. See? And the fact that you have these different diseases and pestilence out here is indeed a sign, all right, and a wonder from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. All right? Matter of fact, let me get some real quick in the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 10th chapter, starting at the 12th verse. It says, the words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool will swallow up himself. So the words of a wise man's mouth is gracious, meaning what? We giving you the information that's needed. See? We're not giving you what proceedeth out the lips of a fool, man. Lips of a fool tell you everything is going to be all right. You know, here it is, you driving and you about to drive off a cliff, and a fool will tell you, hey, have a good day, bro. Well, a wise man will tell you not to continue on that path because eventually you're going to fall off that cliff. See? So those are the words of a wise man's mouth, which it might not sound good. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to go back there, but let me get some real quick. It might not be what you want to hear, yet it's gracious. See, this is Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets, which the prophets speak concerning the things that's to come, you know. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms. And that's what we do primarily here at Great Millstone. We prophesy against this great kingdom, you know, America. It says, prophesy both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war, and that's what we do. We prophesy the fact that World War III is going to be perfected, man. And when the smoke clear and the dust settle, America's going to be destroyed, see? And of evil and of pestilence. See, this is what the prophets prophesied about, of war and of evil and of pestilence. So that in itself proves that the men here at Great Millstone, we come in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. We are in harmony with the scriptures because we prophesy to you of the pestilence that's coming, you know, the strange calamities and diseases that's going to take hold to America. And that's a form of the plagues and the wrath of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. See? So with that, going back to Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter, and starting at the 12th verse, it says, the words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, see? But the lips of a fool will swallow up himself. So the words that are coming out of our mouth, although they would be perceived to be harsh, you know, it could be said that we are the bearers of bad news. You know, why don't you guys have nothing good to say? Well, the scriptures doesn't have anything good to say concerning the times that we in. We're in a time reserved for the Lord to pour out his wrath. All right? Now with that, let me go to Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter, real quick. And also starting at the 12th verse, it says, the beginning of pride is when one departed from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker. Verse 13, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And this is applying to the so-called white man. Okay? Is not the so-called white man proud and does not in that pride pour out abomination? What's an abomination? Homosexuality running rampant. You writing laws and legislations justifying homosexuality. You know, you pass laws celebrating transgenders. You know? You think it's a coincidence that the scriptures say, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that have it shall pour out abomination? Is not pride in the same breath with being a homosexual? Is it not known as Gay Pride Week, Gay Pride Month? See? So this scripture applies to the so-called white man. It says, and therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. See? The Lord brought upon them strange calamities, man. And a part of that strange calamity is these different pestilences and diseases that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has prepared for America. All right? All right, so it says a mysterious infection spanning the globe, a climate of secrecy. Yeah, and it's the same disease. Canada, auris, you know, is the disease that was featured in the opening clip. Well, whoever received that disease, they die within that window of 90 days, period. And there's no cure or formula to offset that disease, man. And that disease is prepared by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. See? It says, last May, an elderly man was admitted to the Brooklyn branch of Mount Sinai, that spiritual hospital, for abdominal surgery, Salakia, which is dealing with your stomach. A blood test revealed that he was infected with a newly discovered germ as deadly as it was mysterious. See? Doctors swiftly isolated him in the intensive care unit. See? So this disease is not only deadly, but it's mysterious. And it's Yahweh Bashim Yahushua that's bringing forth that disease, which is not the only one. There's a series of diseases that's being brought forth here in America, and it's all in attempts to fulfill prophecy. See, the Lord is not just going to abruptly destroy America. It's not going to be a mercy killing. No, the Lord is going to methodically torture this place. And a part of that process is going to be in the form of these diseases. See, it says, man dies from flesh-eating bacteria he contracted on fishing boat. And this was posted a couple of days ago, man. See, flesh-eating bacteria turns family vacation into tragedy, man. A 70-year-old man in Texas managed to contract a flesh-eating bacteria while he was out on a boat fishing with no visible open wounds, see, with no visible open wounds or compromised immune system. Now, usually these flesh-eating diseases, which I was reading one where this woman's arm began to be gnawed off. It was eaten off by a flesh-eating disease, but she contracted it because she had an open wound. Yeah, she was in a water pool somewhere, and she fell, and she cut her arm, and the bacteria penetrated through the wound. That's usually how these flesh-eating bacteria work. But hey, in this case, this guy had no evidence of a wound. See? So the Lord is creating, man, diseases and pestilence that you can't even comprehend. See, it says a 70-year-old man in Texas managed to contract a flesh-eating bacteria while he was out on a boat fishing with no visible open wounds. See, or compromised immune system, which the disease that was featured in the opening clip, these doctors say, you know, it's in part due to a weak immune system. But as the lady said in the clip, hey, this can affect you if you're healthy, man, or so-called healthy. So this is the strange calamity that the Lord Yahweh Shai is sending on America, among many, you know. This is another strange disease. It says alien hand syndrome, the strange disease where your limbs move without conscious will. And this also was released this year, you know. So these are strange diseases that's surfacing right here in 2019, the year of Karagma, man, you know, which is also the year of prophecy, the year that the prophecies is being brought forth. It says the old idiom to not let the left hand know what the right hand is doing has taken a new literal meaning. Hey, see, everything is spiritual. That's scriptural right there, to not let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. So if you're spiritual, you'll see that Yahweh Shem Shai is moving, man. You know? It says alien hand syndrome, AHS, in this extremely rare, see, neurological condition, which means dealing with your nervous system. It said it is extremely rare, with only about 50 documented cases in the past 111 years. A person loses mental control of the subordinate limb, most often the hand, and to their horror, finds that the limb makes involuntary actions that seem to be controlled by another force entirely, man. Yeah, so that could be the angels. You know, your limb, make your limb, you know, just slap the shit out yourself, man. See, you about to see strange things take place here on the planet Earth that cannot be explained, you know, by your inspirational speaker or your doctor, your mentor. Nobody's going to be able to explain what's happening here on the planet Earth but the prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. And in that day, we're not going to be talking because the scriptures tell you how the Lord is going to cause our tongue to cleave to the roof of our mouth. So there's going to be a time where the Lord is going to cut the word off. Famine of the word, you're not going to have answers, see? It says, find that the limb makes involuntary actions that seem to be controlled by another force entirely. This can result in bizarre behavior that not only does the person have no control over, they also generally have no awareness of until they catch the alien limb in the act. Yeah, so you don't even know what's happening, man, until you look over and see, your damn hand, moving, okay? But the moral of the story is, who is these plagues sent from? It's Yahweh Hashem Shah, because these devils, they like to have you think that, this is just some coincidence, Well, guess what? It's Yahweh Hashem Shah that send these different plagues and diseases, man. All right? And I want to get an example of that. In the book of 2 Chronicles, the 21st chapter, and starting at the 14th verse, it says, Behold, with a great plague will the Lord smite thy people, and thy children, and thy wives, and all thy goods. And thou shalt have great sicknesses by disease, of thy bowels, until thy bowels fall out, by reason of the sickness day by day. Amen. And that's a vivid illustration of the terror of the Lord. Here it is. You have a problem with us. We might use a couple of curse words, as you call it, or we might go about our business, in a certain fashion. And you people fall apart. Well, guess what, man? This is the Lord himself declaring that he's going to send forth a disease. And by reason, it's going to cause your bowels to fall out day by day, man. That's torturous. See? Verse 16, moreover, the Lord stirred up against Jehoram the spirit of the Philistines and of the Arabians that were near the Ethiopians, and they came up into Judah and break into it, and carried away all the substance that was found in the king's house, and his sons also, and his wives, so that there was never a son left him, save Jehoahaz, the youngest of his sons. And after all this, the Lord smote him in his bowels with an incurable disease. Let's read this again. And after all this, the Lord, smote him in his bowels with an incurable disease. So who is responsible for these incurable diseases that surface? It's the Lord, man. Yahweh Hashem Shah. Matter of fact, let me look up some real quick. Look up this word, smote. See what it says. It's a verb. It says to strike, smite. To strike, smite. To be stricken, be smitten, to stumble. All right? To strike is the Lord that hits you up with these diseases, man. See? And this is all biblical prophecy. This is a part of the prophecies. See? 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, and see where I want to start at. I start at the 47th verse. It says, Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, dealing with America. See, when you subscribe to the ways of this world, you become an enemy of Yahweh Hashem Shah. See? And has decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions, again dealing with America. Therefore says the Most High, I will send plagues upon her, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence. See? And pestilence to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Yeah, so the Lord is going to send pestilence to you people, man. And we see that unfolding. And for the brothers and sisters out there who the Lord was gracious and merciful enough to allow you to, take a glimpse into his intentions and his plans, you should thank him, because we know what to pray for. Hey, that's another thing. You got to know what to pray for. You people that really don't know Yahweh Shem Shah, even if you had a name, you don't know what to pray for, because you believe, you subconsciously bring that Baptist church spirit into the truth. But see, we fear the Most High, so we know what to pray for. We know to pray, for the Lord to deliver us from the pestilences and the diseases. Deliver us from all the plagues that's coming, man. See? So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, Lord willing. It was edifying. Until the next time I say shalom.